All right, welcome everyone. I'm Miss Dawn. I work at the Southern Branches. I'm actually sitting inside of Yardley Library right now. I am so excited to share a special camp craft with you. I know a lot of camps have been canceled since all of these things have been happening, so I wanted to share a special camp craft with you. I've missed singing to you all. I hope that when we are all able to again, you can all come back for story time with me. So today we are doing a craft that like I said, did at camp. It's called finger knitting. And the best part about finger knitting is you need hardly any supplies. But this craft just needs some yarn and some scissors and your hand. Just make sure you wash them first. The age range, I think I started doing this craft at about 4 years old. So you can try it at about 4. If they aren't getting it, you could always try it the next year. But I really enjoyed making the things that I made as an adult. So it goes to infinity. So feel free to try it. All right, so like I said, I did this at camp and I really enjoyed going to camp when I was a kid. So I wanted to share some camp magic with you. So the supplies that you'll need is some yarn. So we have some yarn here. You could pick any color you'd like. I recommend that if you're going to start doing this finger knitting to use a pretty standard weight yarn. Any color is fine. I will tell you that the lighter the color of the yarn, the more easily you'll be able to see what you're doing. So you might want to start with that to begin with. As you work up, maybe you can experiment with different types of yarn. Another thing that you'll need is a pair of scissors. So make sure that you have a pair of scissors ready because when you're done, you're going to want to cut off. And everything else is just optional. So some of the crafts that you can make, I will show you at the end, and then I'll show you the optional supplies that you might need, but it's not necessary at all. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is take your yarn. I have a really big ball here. So one of the best ways to start a new ball of yarn is to actually take it from the center. And I'm taking a risk because I'm doing this on camera and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the end. Ooh. Well, there it is. I got it. So you're going to take your yarn and make sure there's no knots in it. And you're going to hold your yarn in your hand, okay? Just like this with your thumb. Now, one thing to note, use your non-dominant hand. So a dominant hand is the one that you write with. So I'm a right-handed person, so I'm doing this in my left hand. If you get really good at this and you really want to challenge, sure, try your dominant hand, but it's going to be all being used if you want to do something else because you're going to have the finger knitting hanging off of it. So here's what we're going to do. You are going to hold your yarn, so put the end right over here, and then you are going to start wrapping it around your fingers. Now what I like to do is I like to go between my pinky and ring finger, and I like to go around once, and then you start making figure eights. Can you see that? Figure eights right there. Okay? Now as you can see with my figure eights, I have one line. Okay, so what you can do is you can go around a second time, so another figure eight, until every single one of your fingers has 2 pieces of yarn. Okay, now this is the fun part. So now you're going to start knitting. So you take the bottom piece of yarn and you pull it over your hand, so you're stuck with 1 piece of yarn on your hand, and you do it again and again and again. Look at that. So now I have 1, but look, I have some knitting going on over here. So what you can do now is you do not need to hold on to this end anymore. You can actually pull it through your fingers just like this, pull it tight. That'll be your ending knot. Now how do you continue? Well, this is the best part. It just repeats over and over and over again. So you're gonna, again, do a figure 8 right there until every single finger, again, has 2 rows, okay? And when you're starting, I like to do 4, makes a nice big thick project, but you can do any amount of fingers that you want. So here I go, I'm gonna do it one more time. Now, let's say, and I do this by the way, I like to push it down this way, because otherwise it'll keep creeping up your finger. And you can tug on this a little bit and you can see it's starting to really make a project. But let's say you need to take a break. It's bedtime and you need to take a break. It's really easy. So what you need to do is you need to grab some pencils. I got a really sparkly one there. Do you see that? And a rubber band, okay? So you are going to need the amount of pencils that you have fingers. So you're basically going to slide the pencils right here into each loop and they will act as your fingers. But the project might fall off, so what I like to do is once I have all the pencils in here, is I take the rubber band and I secure it, just like this. Do you see? I don't want to end because I want to show you how to finish a project. So if you could continue, I got a little knot here. Now the beauty of starting a yarn crafting thing like this is there are so many different yarn crafting activities. You can knit. I have some really big knitting needles right there. Do you see them? You can crochet. You can do God's Eye, which might be another Quick Bites that I'll be doing soon. And basically, you can explore your world through yarn. And if you ever go to a craft store where they have a ton of yarn, there are so many beautiful yarns that it's going to be so much fun. So again, I'm going to keep going. And then once you're done, what I'd like you to do, this is just a little example project, but you are going to take every loop. See, I took that one off my pinky, and I'm going to gather up all 4 loops in this case. 2, 3, 4. So now I have, see, some loops there. So you're going to cut off this yarn. I have a big knot, so I may not be able to do this very effectively. And you're going to take your yarn and you're going to take a piece of yarn and you're going to pull it through, and you're going to make a knot. That's it. You're just going to make a knot. And then you'll have a beautiful project. Let me show you the things that I made. Okay. So my favorite one, because my hair is very long right now. I'm used to having a short haircut. But my favorite one right now is this. It's a headband. Look at this. So you can wear a beautiful headband. You could put beads on it if you'd like. And this headband is just one long string. And I just took the ends and I tied them in a bow. And then you have a headband. You also can make a really beautiful necklace. Look at that. And you can again, decorate it if you'd like. But the great part about this is there's not much work. You just leave an extra long string. You could kind of take breaks in between and make it all sorts of interesting designs. When you get a little bit more experience, you can use a much thicker weight yarn. So one of the things I made with a thicker weight yarn is this bracelet. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Also, and of course, I work at the library and I want you to read, so go get a book. Put something on hold. You can make a bookmark. Look at that. So for this one, I used a baby weight yarn. It's a very fine weight yarn, and I used a little foam, But if you have felt, you can use felt. If you have a button, a pretty button that you want to use, you can put that there. And then you have a really great bookmark. See, look at that. This is a very good book, by the way. And one of the things that we need about now is we need some ear savers, because sometimes when you wear masks, they kind of hurt the back of your ears. So I made this. This is an ear saver. Now basically what you do is you put it behind your ears, so you might need to measure. Put it behind your ears and you attach the ear portion to the buttons. So you just need to be able to sew on those buttons. And you can see I used the same yarn, and I used a very large needle. See, look, you can see this. Look at that needle. This is not a normal needle. Look at how big that is. If you want to get an exact measurement for the headband, for example, make sure that you have some measuring tape, because that's going to help you. And if it's flexible like that, even better, because I don't know how you do it with anything else. So that is how you finger knit. So like I said, try with different yarn weights. So that means the heaviness of the yarn. So I used a baby weight for my bookmark. I used a heavy weight for my bracelet. So try using different amounts of different weights of yarn, and also try using different amounts of fingers. Now I showed you with 4, but some of these projects this one I used 4, but some of these projects I might have used only 3 or 2 or even 1. You can just keep on going like that. So much fun. It's very relaxing. I love doing this type of activity when it's a really nice day outside and I could look at the clouds and just do it without thinking. Or if it's a rainy day, you can stay inside, curl up, and do a little finger knitting. So I hope you enjoyed this craft. Again, I'm Miss Dawn. I had so much fun with you.